We knew towing the fifth wheel to our property was gonna be tough, but we didn't expect this.
This is the first time we've ever hooked up a fifth wheel hitch. Maybe you could show us how.
Maybe you can show us how to hook up a fifth wheel hitch. Nerves are high.
I just give you a call once I'm all loaded up, headed your way.
Perfect.
These are the days when you keep the end in mind and you try again.
I'm doing the crossbars to the horizontal, and I've attached them to the solar panels, and now I'm gonna weld the horizontal beam that rotates. To cut a 6-inch hole. I had to buy this hole saw into plate steel, and this will be where the pin goes through. As the solar panel horizontal bar rotates, it'll have holes in it so that you can set the pitch angle of the solar panels. So I gotta chuck it up in here, and then I have to also change the speed of the drill press to the slowest speed by adjusting this belt here. All right, this hole saw is calling for 65 RPM for mild steel, and the slowest I can get the press to go is 620 RPM with the belt on the bottom. So hopefully it doesn't get too hot. I'm gonna use this CRC cutting oil. Hopefully that should help. All right, the big plate's a little rough, so to put in the drill press, so I'm going to cut it at 7 inches with the bandsaw, and then it should be more manageable up here.
It is a late night Saturday night drive to Home Depot. Kirk dragged me out after work. I was all snuggled up. He was like, let's go get plywood. So that's what we're doing. We do need plywood for tomorrow. It is kind of muddy. It rained a little bit this week, so in order to get up our driveway, we need to have a little bit of friction, but we're both really excited and a little bit nervous to have our RV, Sylvie, towed to the land, so we're gonna try to do whatever we can to get it ready. Cheers. You sparkle in the moonlight.
Oh, that side's up. Oh, we're good. It'll go.
It'll go?
We're good.
So currently we have our haulers, and the tow hitch was too high to clamp onto our fifth wheel. So we've spent the morning trying to get our hook on the fifth wheel higher to hook into the truck. So I think we just jacked it up enough to clear the couple inches that we needed to attach it. So step one of the day is turning into a really hard step, and I'm hoping that the rest of the day goes a little smoother and that the mountain is the little problem and that this was the big problem. So wish us luck. Nerves are high. Scary.
It's always been like that because the slope of the street goes this way.
Yeah, I know. If we could just push it a little bit back. Movie, bro.
Well, that's the end of that. Showed up here with a big tool.
So this is what we needed earlier to move the hitch, the kingpin hitch, up or down. I'm actually glad I didn't have it because this only would have solved the first problem, and I have zero confidence. So it's actually a good thing that I didn't have this tool. And now I do, and I'm going to change it. I'm confident it can be done even with my truck. My truck is I got a F350 long bed Power Stroke.
Okay.
And I went out to a local parking lot and basically figured out how tight I could apex that corner. Then I measured that and I went back to the road and measured that, and there's room to do it for sure. And then getting on the property is a bit rough because there's a hard right-hand turn. It's over 90. Even though you can jackknife fifth wheels, it'd be a bad situation to get stuck in. I think we would need two trucks, essentially, one to pull once it starts digging into the dirt, and then the person under the fifth wheel hitch. So that's essentially what the tow looks like from my perspective.
Yeah.
There's really only two spots that I consider to be problem spots. One I don't think is a problem spot as long as you're pulling it nice and wide. And then the tricky part, I think, is actually getting it on the property. So we talked to a guy who does RV hauling. He just said it was too much stress and didn't want to do it. So that's kind of where we're at. We're hoping maybe you got some tricks up your sleeve or some exotic crane work that, you're comfortable using or whatever. So
it sounds like it's on the side of a mountain or something with an edge or drop off?
Yeah. It's the narrowest part of the road and it's the sharpest curve.
Yeah. How about your tail swing? Like when you're making that turn, you want to have tail swing on the tail of the RV.
Yeah.
With that
so
the edge of the mountain?
It might scrub the mountain, but I'm not too worried about that. That's where I would need someone else's expertise. I think that the tail swing works because when we were measuring and doing the turn apexing, we were watching the outside edge for the tail swing as well. And it was staying over the road, but that's a good question. No one asked that.
If you're tail swinging and if it's going away from the mountain, that's one thing. But if you're that tight, swing, and it's going like the tail starts to pivot towards the mountain, then that would be like the part that is stuck. And all right, what's the address? I can go to my office and get our little Dodge and throw some what I need. I guess if we need to. The pallet jack and stuff in there, and then I can give you a call once I'm all loaded up, headed your way.
Perfect.
All right.
Love it. Thank you.
Kelvin, we will do whatever you want for the rest of your life. for your generosity. Well,
Kimmy's excited now.
All right. Let me get down there and get some equipment, and then I will call you when I'm on.
Perfect. Thank you. Really, really, really appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
Take care.
Right.
Bye.
texting Erica, you married the best man on the planet.
He's always been a good dude. Every time I've talked to him. He said he's loading up.
He said he's gonna go to the shop and load up.
That's what I like.
Figure tight.
Alright.
So that's going to lower down the back end.
Yes, that's exactly. I was telling Kimmy, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and this morning, had it been done, it would have hooked up. But I think it worked out the way it's supposed to work out.
Well, maybe it's like this.
Yeah, I honestly believe it. But now I got a big breaker bar.
Have a headache. I don't even know where to start.
Too.
I had to take. Do you need Tylenol? I just took some. We'll take some after. So we're both pretty frustrated, trying to keep in good spirits, but we need to have a moment of anger because we just hired our second hauler for the hauler, and we thought it was
loosely used term.
We thought we were in really good hands because it's a tiny house towing company. And it's a tiny house towing company. We told them everything they needed to know. We sent them video. We asked to connect with the driver because we have a kind of a tricky haul and we would like to let them know up front how things are gonna go. They didn't connect us. Kirk tried to connect with them yesterday to let them know, nothing. But nonetheless, they were a professional company, so we just went with it. They showed up today. And within the first couple minutes, we go to hook up our fifth wheel and...
I asked if they saw the video we sent.
No.
The broker company assured us that they did. They hadn't seen it. I tried to tell them about the haul and the tricky parts. Oh, we'll figure it out. I'm like, all right. So then we start going. They're like, oh yeah, this is the first time we've ever hooked up a fifth wheel hitch. Maybe you could show us how.
Maybe you can show us how to hook up a fifth wheel hitch.
I'm like,
they just picked up the hitch from the dealer. They never used it, or nor towed a fifth wheel.
I was shocked.
To say the least.
This ain't the one you want to be towing for your first time.
Maybe you can show us how to hook up a fifth wheel hitch. Anyhow,
that's how it started out.
It started out with that knowledge, so that was a little odd. But you know, they do this for a living, so you're like, it's fine, it's fine. So we go to do it. They're trying to back it in to get it to clamp, and
his fifth wheel hitch doesn't pivot. It's just rigid, solid. So it kind of sucks. He has no airbags in the truck. So the landing gear on the RV was at full extension, and we still needed like another 2 inches. So I suggested a couple things. We moved the kingpin hitch up, but I didn't have a big enough breaker bar for these 1-inch thick bolts and whatnot. So I suggested taking air out of his tires to drop his car down like a set of airbags, and then I would air them back up. And he kind of hemmed and hawed and said, oh, this truck has airbags. And he points inside. He pointed at the fuel tank. I'm just sitting there going, this is going to be a nightmare if this thing actually gets hooked up and we go up there, because he didn't know what
he pointed at the fuel tank? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Dead serious. Plastic I was shocked. So then I get the jack out. I jack up, just manually jack it up on the frame and put blocks under, and now it'll clear. Then he starts...
And now all you have to do is back it up to clamp
Perfect.
in. It was level.
Perfectly.
Yeah, lined up with the hitch and everything.
He starts hemming and hawing about the landing gear and the curvature of the street.
Oh, mind you, this is after an hour of trying to figure out stuff with him, trying to figure out how to even out. It's been a whole hour.
Yeah, so finally I just jack it up. There's a little tiny crown to the street for drainage in any street. So I jack it up, and we put jacks under that side, and it's ready to back up. He starts telling me he thinks that when he backs up that the fifth wheel, it's going to push and it's going to fall over. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, if you're worried about this here, there's no pavement, there's no gravel, it's just soft soil up there. Like, if you're worried about this, you're going to be scared.
He was afraid that before it locked in, that the hitch was going to hit ours and tilt the whole thing over because of the grade of the road. And
at which point I said to myself, oh yeah, you really have never hooked up a fifth wheel hitch.
Yeah, so Kirk was in full problem solving mode, so he was trying to tell them that's not going to happen, all these reasons why, and then I kind of pulled him aside for a second to flash back to what we were doing and realize that if they were nervous about hooking it up on a residential street on pavement, it's probably not the best idea to have them keep going, because at that point they were trying to back out anyway. So I just told Kirk, let them back out, we probably don't want them doing it anyway. So long story longer, it's gonna be a long day, but we called my cousin because they actually have a towing company.
Yeah.
Funny story. This whole time, my cousin has owned a trucking company for years, so we just talked to him and he's down to go to his shop, get some stuff, come out and help us tow it. So the good news is that he's gonna text us when he's on his way here, and we might have a solution. We have someone who's actually knowledgeable and
asked all the right questions.
Asked the right questions when talking to Kirk. I knew what to ask. Yeah. Everyone else we've talked to has kind of just been like, of course we can do it. Great. Here's the amount. We could do this Monday. And I said, do you want to know about the streets or the mountain roads? It's kind of tricky. He was like, no, we got it. So also that kind of cavalierness was also not very appreciated.
Yeah, when they said they were going to figure it out when they got there, I'm sitting there going, this is not a place you figure it out. It's a one-laner. You can't block it. People live there. Like,
people live there.
You can't just be taking up the road. Like,
the fact that we've had a guy who does this for a living, this is what he does. He backed out after seeing the road. Twice said he couldn't do it. So if we weren't sure in the beginning, we know for sure that it's a tricky tow. So when people are like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, we're like, that's not gonna work either. It's been a struggle, but I think we're both kind of resigned to the idea that we probably should have just done it ourselves in the first place. And that's kind of where we're at now with my cousin Kelvin. He's professional. They both know what they're doing. Kelvin's next level. He's been doing this a long time. Kirk's done the route. He's practiced, and we have the right hitch and know how to clamp it in. So hopefully the day gets better, but you know, I think we both need to take some Tylenol, take a minute to decompress and get started.
The easiest part was so hard, and it was an epic failure.
It was an epic failure. It was so bad. I don't even know if we're trying to stay positive. We're just trying to get through the day. Like, we're not even like, let's stay positive. It's just like, let's just get it done at this point.
I think we got the right guy this time.
Yeah, I think we got the right guy, because he's family and he'll never live this down if he can't help us.
That's not happening.
That's not happening. It's getting up there. He's going to save the day, and we're going to take a minute to get the stuff we need, because I think we need a couple more things.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And join us on Patreon.
My hair got caught. Ripped out my hair. Let me see if I can also send you that, Kelvin, while he's looking for the... Oh! Shoot. Everybody wants our trailer gone, but nobody wants to tow it.
I want to tow it.